Yeah. How long do you typically give yourself to get the routing on a new project? When the client asks, "How long will this take to get a routing plan?" What do you
Well,
tell them?
Leighton, there's a funny thing that happens in golf course architecture, which you probably haven't heard about, where every time a client gets a nice piece of land, you want the one next door too, or a piece of it.
Yeah, just keep extending outwards.
We were very lucky to have a nice dinner with Bill Coore and Dick Young's cap about a year and a half ago, and Bill had about 1 million acres to work with, and of course he wanted a little bit of the next door neighbor's property. So the way Dick Youngcap tells the story, it's pretty funny. But so yeah, we just had that process here. But typically, what we do, Thad, is a lot of guys want to see the topo map first or the property first. I don't. I can't
Okay.
speak for Keith. I think he likes to have just a little bit of info beforehand. I like to go in cold, blindfold me, drop me off there, let me wander. And maybe that's just me as a kid wandering through the forest back home in the mountains. I just love figuring out raw natural landscape. How do you walk around there, right?
Hmm.
And I like to kind of first just get that sense of place etched into my mind before I start looking at any data, topography, digital elevation maps, property lines, view sheds, any of That's kind of secondary. I just like to get that sense and feeling of the property. And so I'll just walk around, even aimless. We had a little bit of a sketchy situation this time where we're on someone else's property. And they're asking what we're doing, and it's kind of hard to be like, "Who, me? Nothing, just
Play
hanging
dumb.
out."
Yeah.
So, so you can get yourself into trouble that way too. But I like to just wander, go up, down. I'll just zigzag it, barely. I don't even care what this is telling me. I just want to get a sense of what it feels like. Once I've got that feeling, kind of that first impression feeling, which I think is you only get one chance at that.
Hmm.
Then I like to look at the topo map. Okay, what did I just walk? Is this translate? Sometimes you look at the topo map and go, oh, look at that big ridge. And then you go out there and it's just this tiny little thing, right? Or vice versa, which is even more exciting when you go, this did not show up. This is amazing. Or we found something that somehow didn't get recorded in the data. But and I like to look at the topo map, just look at the shape of the property, because that's another thing I think a lot of people don't understand is like, sure, you might have 200 acres, but if it's 200 acres at the wrong shape, if it's an L-shaped piece of land or something,
Hmm.
very difficult to get, perhaps, difficult to get a golf course on it. Maybe if you're on kind of links land like St. Andrews, you could definitely put a L-shaped back and,
Yeah, out and back kind of thing. Yeah, yeah.
exactly, but
Mm.
that's kind of rare. But anyway, the shape of the property is very important. And then I like to kind of start putting some golf holes on the topo, a little bit advanced, but nothing. I'm not trying to do the routing. I'm trying to go, okay, where would I start? Where would I finish? That's a neat par three. That's a neat par three. I like to find some par threes first,
Okay.
and then I'll maybe put a par five on some of the less desirable land, or if I'm trying to get from A to B very quickly. If I'm trying to get to two pieces of the property, maybe stitch together using a par five. So I start to kind of just put some very very loose bones together. Not trying to build the whole skeleton at that point. And then what we'll typically ask is more land, or can you get this piece, or can you get this piece, or is this easement allowed? Because we're thinking that this would be a good starting point for the clubhouse, right? You don't want to do all this routing and then realize you can't even get an entrance road to it, or what have you. Just try to knock out some of those, critical path constraint issues.